So you've seen the TikToks and the YouTube videos and the Instagram posts, and you really want to travel too, but feel like you can't because of your financial situation, right? Well, if that's true, then this video is for you, because I'm here to tell you that that is false and it is a lie that you can finally stop telling yourself. I've been traveling and living abroad for almost 20 years, and so I get this kind of question all the time. Nikki, how do I do what you do? How do I afford it? How do you afford to travel? So in this video, I am going to tell you how, and if I can do it, so can you. If you really want to travel, you need to make it a priority in your life. Not just think about it, but really make it a priority and take the steps to get you there. I've always known from a really young age that this is what I wanted to do with my life, and so I took the steps to get me here, even when I had no idea what I was doing or how to start. When I first started traveling, there was no Instagram, YouTube didn't exist. There were internet cafes, so I didn't have a lot of help, but I had determination and I made it happen. When I was 23 years old, I went to a cafe in Denver to talk to the owner about selling some of my travel photography on the walls of his cafe. After he looked through my portfolio, the first thing he said to me was not about my photography. It was, "Wow, you must be a person of means." And yes, do I have privileges? I definitely do, but I know that the privilege he was talking about was a financial one. I was definitely not financially privileged. My family didn't grow up with money. We never went on vacations outside of the country. I started working at 15 years old. I bought my own clothes. I bought my own car. I paid for my own university, even if it did take 15 years. All this to say, I was not a person of financial privilege like you might feel yourself. However, I was a person of priority. Travel was my priority, and I made it happen. Obviously, my priority and the cafe owner's priorities were very different. He chose to spend his money by opening a cafe. I choose to spend my money on plane tickets and hostels and travel. So if traveling is really important to you and it's something you really want to do, make it a priority. Start with the small things, just the little steps that will take to get you a little bit closer. Read blogs, research a country, look up flights, watch YouTube videos, follow people on Instagram who are doing what you want to do. I'm Nikki from Nikki Posts Travel Stuff, and right now I'm in Jujuy, Argentina. I want to help you go from travel anxiety to traveling abroad. So maybe now you're saying, yeah, Nikki, I get it. Travel's my priority, but I don't have any money. What am I supposed to do? Well, a lot of people say, oh, I'll start traveling when I have enough, if I have enough. The problem is you will never feel that you have enough. Having enough is not a financial goal to get you started. Make an achievable goal. When I have $1,000, when I have $2,000. Depending on the location, that money can go a really long way. The first time I ever left the country was to go on a study abroad program in Spain when I was 20 years old, and I had less than $1,000 to my name. And with that $1,000, I studied an entire semester in Spain, and I traveled 6 weeks around Western Europe afterwards. One of my best friends, Art from Gringo Nation, he actually travels full time and he is broke. You should definitely check out his channel to find some budget tips. There are a lot of other ways to save beyond just saving your money. You can also save money by getting a credit card that offers travel reward points. The majority of American credit cards these days offer 0 international fees. And when you first open the credit card, they give you a big bundle of points. If you're gonna be spending money anyways, why not get something back? About 4 years ago when I moved to Italy, I opened the Capital One Venture card because it gave me a ton of points and I got a free flight to Italy. I currently have 2 credit cards now. One is the Chase Sapphire card and the other is the Southwest credit card. On both of those cards, I get airline points, so I am getting so many free flights by using my credit card. I use it like a debit card. I buy everything with my credit card and pay it off right away, so I'm not paying extra fees, but I am getting a ton of benefits. A couple tips about credit cards. One is, yes, they do charge a yearly fee. But I look at it this way. If I'm paying $100 for a yearly fee, but I'm also getting 6,000 points per year with my renewal, well, those 6,000 points are enough for another flight. So really it's like I'm paying $100 for a flight And oftentimes the flight is worth more than $100, so it evens out, or I'm saving money. The second tip is that I know you have to spend a certain amount of money in the first 2 or 3 months in order to get those points. For example, with the Chase Sapphire card, I had to spend $4,000 in 3 months. I was living in the country of Georgia at the time, so there's no way I was gonna spend that much money. So for 2.5 months, I used the credit card for every single purchase. Then the remaining amount, I PayPal'd to my sister. Sure, I paid a small fee, but the amount of points that I got back in exchange for that was so much more than that small fee. Then she just transferred it back to me when it was in cash, and it was in my PayPal account. And then I just paid off my credit card. Even if you're not using a credit card, there are other ways to save on flights. One, Skyscanner. If you don't care about the exact date or even the exact location, you can go to Skyscanner, and instead of choosing exact dates, you can put in entire month, and then you can choose which month you want to look at. It'll show you the cheapest flights at those times. Instead of putting in a destination, you can also just choose go anywhere, and it'll show you the cheapest flights to anywhere in the world from your home location. There's also an app called Hopper. With Hopper, you put in your home location, you put in your destination, you put in the dates, and then you can click choose to watch the flight. Then Hopper will give you notifications and estimates on when the flight will go up, when the flight will go down, and the best time to buy to save you money. Now you've made travel a priority, you've saved up your money, now you just need to go where that money is gonna work for you. This is something called GeoArbitrage. Go where the money will work for you. Your $1,000 is not gonna last you very long in London, but it is gonna last you a long time in the country of Georgia, in Argentina, in Western China, in Turkey. Research the places that will have the best return for your money. Right now, I want you to think about how much rent you pay per month. If you're in the United States, you're probably paying upwards of $1,500 to $1,000 per month, right? Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on where you live. When I lived in the country of Georgia, I paid $300 a month. My apartment in Cordoba, Argentina is $250 a month. Even in Florence, Italy, I had a roommate, but I paid $600 a month. It's actually much more affordable to live outside of the United States. I spent the last 5 weeks in Peru and spent $1,000. I spent an average of $630 per month in Argentina before that. And that's including rent, food, entertainment, going out, everything. Just simply leaving the United States or Canada or Europe is already saving you money. When I first started traveling, I had a backpack and I went from city to city or sometimes country to country for just a couple days at a time. That's one way to travel, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But there are so many other ways to travel, and the longer you stay, the more affordable it will be for you. For example, Airbnb gives monthly discounts, and so do some hotels, some hostels, so you're already saving, in some cases, a couple $100 just by staying longer. There are also websites that help you do exchanges, such as HelpX or WOOF, which is Workers on Organic Farms. In these exchanges, you can exchange your time, so some hours of work during the day, in exchange for room and board. So you're essentially spending no money at all. I used both of these programs in New Zealand. I spent a lot of time on different organic farms, sheep farms, an organic cafe. I spent barely any money during that time, but I did make a ton of local friends, ton of other friends doing the same thing that I was doing, and I really got to know the place better because I stayed there longer. Couchsurfing is also an option. This is a website that used to be free, but now costs around $14 per year. And if you really use the service, the $14 is completely worth it. It's like a social media. Everyone has a profile, and when you're going to a country or a city, you can look up a person and ask them if you can stay at their house, and it's usually for free. Sometimes people will see that you are coming to their city and they'll invite you to stay at their house for free. I've done this all over New Zealand, all over Russia, both ways. I've asked people if I could stay at their house, and people have asked me if I can stay at their house. I know it might sound sketchy if you're new to it, and sometimes sketchy things happen, but for the most part, things are very cool. The people that you meet are just like you, and they want to travel as well, and they want to meet people from other cultures. Couchsurfing also organizes a ton of meetups in cities all over the world, so it's a great way for you to meet people and make friends wherever you go. I'm still friends with several people I've stayed with from Couchsurfing. Even someone whose couch I stayed with in Poland came to visit me and my friend in the United States several months later. One of the best ways to get to know a place really well is to study there. I've studied in Spain, I've studied in the Philippines, I've studied in Italy, and it's the best way because not only are you getting to know a place by staying there longer, but you have a built-in social network already, and it's so much easier to make friends. The people you're studying with are there for the same reason as you, so you already have a lot in common. They've also probably came by themselves, and they're in the same situation and they're looking for friends. So it's really easy to connect with people in that way. And look, you can study at any age. I did study abroad in Spain when I was a student and I was 20 years old. I studied film in the Philippines when I was 28, and I studied graphic design in Italy at 35. So definitely don't limit yourself by age. There's something for everyone. So not only is study one of the easiest ways to travel and meet people, it's one of the easiest visas to get in most countries, and education outside of the United States is generally much more affordable. If you're a university student, you can do study abroad, which generally costs a lot of money, or you can do an exchange program, so you're paying the same tuition, but you're living in a different country. When I did both of my one-year programs in the Philippines and Italy, they were both thousands of dollars more affordable than if I had done the same exact programs in the United States. Not only that, there are several universities in Europe that offer very affordable, or if not free, education, even if you're an international student. I believe Slovenia is one of those countries, and Germany also has very affordable programs. But just do a Google search for where you're interested in going. All right, maybe studying's not for you. So you're thinking, well, what other options do I have, right? You can work. Just because you're living in a different country doesn't mean you can't work legally there. There are working holiday visas in several countries. Americans have the option to do a working holiday visa in Australia, in New Zealand, in Ireland. You just have to be generally 30 years old, sometimes 35 or younger. The working holiday visa is a one-year work permit, so you can work and travel at the same time, stay there longer, make friends, get to know the local culture. It's an amazing opportunity. I did the working holiday visa in both New Zealand and Australia. I worked at a Russian cafe in Auckland, I worked at an art store in Melbourne, I worked at a pub in Melbourne, among a few other things, and I'm still friends with some of those people I met doing those programs. And in many cases, you can actually extend your visa if you find a job that's willing to take you on, or in some cases in Australia, if you do fruit picking for a few months, 3 or 4 months, they'll actually give you another one-year visa. Another fantastic opportunity if you're a native English speaker, or in some cases, if you're not native but near fluent, you can always teach English. This is a route that I went several times. I taught English to children, teens, and adults in Brazil. I taught English to adults in business settings in Argentina, and I taught kindergarten for 4 years in South Korea. If you've never taught before and you feel uncomfortable, there are tons of TEFL courses around the world where you go somewhere like Thailand for 1 month and they'll teach you how to be a teacher, and then they'll even assist you in getting a job. I actually never did a TEFL course, and fortunately I taught for nearly 10 years without a TEFL, but I just have a ton of experience. Not only that, but you can make a lot of money teaching English depending on where you go. There is a very high demand for English teachers in East Asia. A lot of contracts actually include housing in the contract. So not only are you not paying rent, but you're getting a full salary and you're just saving a ton of money. This is why I lived in Korea for 4 years. Every year I was able to save up, then go travel or go study, come back, save more money, travel again. And meanwhile, the whole time I was living in South Korea. So I was learning the language, I was learning the culture, and making a ton of friends living in a different country. There are honestly great opportunities in Asia. And if you become a university professor, you get like 4 months of paid vacation off every year. and your workload is around 12 to 18 hours per week. If you're interested in teaching English, I suggest you head over to daveseslcafe.com. It has been the gold that everyone goes to for decades to find information on teaching English abroad. They have Korea forums, Japan forums, the rest of the world forums. You can upload your resume, but expect recruiters to be calling you a lot. But there are also lesson plans and lesson ideas. It is gold for teachers. Another work opportunity is one that I personally never actually did, but thousands of people do every year, which is au pair. This is essentially a nanny job. You live with a family and they provide you room and board, so you're not spending much money because you don't have expenses, plus they pay you a salary, and in a lot of cases, it's a pretty decent salary. If you're interested in this option, I suggest doing a Google search for au pair plus the country that you're interested in living in. Beyond that, you guys, it's 2022. Things are only going to get more remote from here on out. So if you're a software developer, if you're in tech, there are so many jobs that you can do from abroad. I mean, if you're already working from your computer at home anyways, why couldn't you do that abroad? I suggest checking out flexjobs.com because they have a ton of remote work availabilities listed on their website. Have a look and see if something is there that works for you as well. And of course, you can make money on social media. I mean, people are making money on TikTok all the time, on Instagram, on YouTube, writing a blog. Research what you want to do and see if that's right for you. Now you know all my secrets, all my advice, the things that I've done to be able to travel with very little amounts of money. So make travel a priority, start researching countries, save your money, make a plan, take the little steps to just go. Why not?